May 24th, 2021, and it's about that temperature as well, about 24 degrees out here. I tried to work out here in long pants. I just got accustomed to it. Over the last number of days it's been rather cool, but I had to move to shorts. So this should be entertaining. You see me get stung in the legs again. So the apiary is an absolute madhouse right now. You may or may not be able to hear that. Birds are going crazy. Everybody's so happy that the cool and rainy weather is over. Nobody more than the dandelions. We've got a really nice dandelion bloom going on here, and hopefully that'll be the case for quite some time. And I see a number of honeybees on the dandelions, of course. Those little birds are having such a good time. So I don't know, can you see that stack of boxes over there? There's 18 boxes there. And if you recall, I got 18 colonies brought in here from my friend Ian Stippler. And we set them down there on Thursday. It was not a great day. It was a good day for moving bees because they were just all indoors. It was cool, even a drizzle. But they're strong and they're singles, so they need another box. And so I'm going to go over there and put second box on those. I've got my brood chambers ready on that pallet. Set them up there. All right, so I need to get to work. So what you see here is a line of 16 of the 18 colonies. There's one skid off camera there. And I've been trying lately to work gloveless, and it's been working out really well. I shouldn't even need the smoker, but you know, I always want to have it handy. So all I'm going to do here is I've got my brood chambers on this pallet, and I'm going to just lift the lid and throw a brood chamber on, and that's it. Just to give them space to expand, get the colonies going nice and strong. And I might even mark the hives. I see the lids. These are Ian's boxes, but they're my lids, so they have marks on them that do not apply to these colonies. So I'll probably remark those just to keep my confusion at a minimum, because that happens a lot with me. Get confused pretty easily. All right, I'm going to bring a couple over. I'm going to install story frames in the second box, and then when I push them down in about a month, that story frame will then end up in the bottom. One thing about working gloveless is you end up with sticky hands a lot more. It's one of the first things when I became a beekeeper, my wife and I both exclaimed, is, my goodness, you're sticky all the time. Everything is sticky in a beekeeper's life. Okay. Get that one right there. I don't want to bang these around too much, you know, before I open them up. Oh, my hand is covered in syrup or honey. I'll just give the guard bees something to think about here. Bare hands, bare legs. I gotta mind my manners. Oh my goodness, these boxes are just teeming. Just teeming. And that's all I want to do right there. Get that box on there. Put the foamy back. The lid back on. The lid's not on there quite right. It's fitting really tight. Some reason. Okay, so I'll just scrape off the marks that are here. When I'm done, I'll go around and mark each one of these appropriately. Yeah, these are full of bees, all right. So hopefully they can come up and make real good use of that second brood chamber. Ian thought that was smoker was a pretty cool deal when he was here. I think it's a pretty cool deal. I tried using the foamies on my hives a couple of years ago, and they were fine. You know, I think they do make a difference with a little bit of insulation and sealing up that edge. I just swore at them though, they kept blowing away. It's always windy around here. How long I can mark and scrape my covers before they show remarkable deterioration. That's got a pretty new foamy on it. Looking good. That's not very exciting stuff, I know. It's one of those things. No foamy at all on that one. That's okay. Oh, jeez. Stung me through the socks. Holy cow. That's not very nice. Those guard bees are the meanest. That's their job, right? That's their job. Most of these story frames are not drawn. Everything else is. So we've got 9 good drawn frames. And they can work on that story frame as they get out that far. This dandelion flow, it won't take long to draw some comb. This is where the value of dead outs really shines. You know, you never want your bees to die in the winter or any other time, but they do. Simple fact is they do. They do regularly, and you can mitigate that with your management practices, etc. Sometimes it's environmental concerns that'll increase or decrease that eventuality, but they do. So when they do, you think, oh, I lost my bees, I got nothing left. You don't have nothing left. You've got lots left. And this is where that dead colony can offer, offer a lifeline, I suppose you could say, to another colony. Drawn comb is absolute gold. And it's such a scarcity for a new beekeeper. I went through it. I struggled for a couple of years. And you hear people, when you have that conversation, you hear people say, oh yeah, it takes X amount of honey to, I'm not talking about honeycomb, right? If you got a honey flow, in my opinion, if you've got a honey flow and your bees have what they have to draw a comb, by cracky, you better get them to draw a comb. Will your honey crop increase if they have drawn honeycomb? Well, of course it will. Will you notice? Will you be able to quantify that? Honestly, I'm not convinced you would. Maybe you can. But honestly, I don't think it's that great. And if you do the math between what the theorists say you're saving with drawn comb, and you compare what you spent on that drawn comb to buy it, and what it costs you to have your bees draw it, you're pretty much breaking even. So I say, have your bees draw it. Have your bees draw some nice, new, clean honeycomb. Adding brood comb to a hive, giving brood comb to a colony is vital. If you've got new bees and they're building it well in the spring and you have no brood comb to do this, you have no brood comb to add to them, to give them the space they want, give them the space the queen needs to lay, your bees are going to swarm. You ask me how I know that. And foundation is not brood comb. Foundation is not space to lay. Okay, foundation is nothing in that context. So invest in some brood comb. I think it's even worth it to buy some honeycomb. Maybe buy some honeycomb that's not perfect. It's a little ratty. It's been around the block. And just use that for your brood chambers. But that first year or two, when you have no spare brood comb, that's when you really need to go through the effort to get some. In my opinion, that's where it's going to benefit you. Honeycomb, nah, whatever. Will honeycomb be a benefit? Yeah. And don't forget, I speak in context of my area, in context of my honey flows and my season. Okay? So if you're not in my area, you can very easily say I'm wrong. And I would argue I'm not wrong. I am right in context. What I say is valid in context. And it's a regional context. Just the whole idea that it's going to cost, people. It's almost like people try and scare new beekeepers. Oh, it costs you too much honey to have the bees draw their own comb. That alone, I say, is nonsense. I just think that's nonsense. But that's just me. I prepped most of these boxes with 10 frames of brood comb. Then I decided, I want to put my story frames in these. So now I'm having to insert the story frames as I put them on. saw one guy, he took his lids, I don't know if you can even see me, and he actually stapled his foamy to the lid, and I thought that was a good idea. It might help alleviate my objection to my difficulties, I should say. I don't have objections, but difficulties with the foamies. These are all good colonies. Oh man, another one in the socks. Son of a gun. Good honey flow here. These bees will draw a deep frame of plastic foundation in days. Like 3-4 days. They'll have that thing drawn out. You want to see them draw it fast. You put that thing in the brood chamber, put it in the brood nest. That's kind of bad form, but why do they ever draw it fast? Because they hate that foundation in the brood nest. Oh, they hate that, and they tie into that and fix that problem right away. These old brood chambers are rough. You gotta respect a man who does a lot with little, you know, and I wouldn't say Ian is deprived at all, but he definitely is efficient. He doesn't go and blow his fortune on a bunch of brand new stuff when the old stuff will do just fine. And his brood chambers are probably the most glaring example of that. Yeah, it's fun having Ian come and deliver these. It's sure nice of him to do that. I talked to him a lot, but because of COVID, I haven't seen him in a year. Not having our board meetings in person these days. Everybody just stays to themselves pretty much, which I'm glad people are respecting that. I mean, I don't want to get into that whole thing, but I just hope it's over soon. Whatever the reasons and whatever the results, I just hope it's over. One left to do. I may do a bunch of mine. I need to check. There was a few I checked the other day. They were pretty full. I shield my legs between the ripping foamy. Okay. Almost everybody I see on YouTube working bees, they've got their bees up on a stand of some kind. You know, a stand is this high. And I get that. I hate bending down. And I have mine up on a bit of a stand. As many as I have built anyway. But two things. I guess they don't have much of a honey flow because, you know, by the time my honey flow is coming to an end, my hive is going to be 6 feet high or maybe better. And my honey flow isn't even that heavy. So maybe they have far less of a honey flow that way. But the thing I see them doing, it just looks so hard, is they're constantly in this stand. They're constantly reaching over to pick frames, you know. Why, that would kill my back. Tougher people.